Hello, and thank you for joining us on a brand new episode of 420 Grams. And we're coming a little unannounced क्योंकि ये हमारे शेड्यूल में था नहीं. हमारे कैलेंडर में आज के गेम को कवर करने का था नहीं. हमने टिक मार्क नहीं किया था इस गेम को. अब आपको जो लगे कि हम क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम उसमें घुस नहीं रहे. बट द पॉइंट बीइंग कि जो डेडिकेशन हमारे अंदर इस सीजन आईएसएल के प्रति आई है,
The
पहले
point
तो
being
आप
that
लोग
we are
जहां
both
भी
watching the game first of all.
सर मैं वहीं पहुंच रहा था. मैं कह रहा हूँ कि हम दोनों शो नहीं कर रहे आज, लेकिन दोनों शो देख रहे हैं, मैच देख रहे हैं. अब मैच देख रहे थे एंड ऑल क्रेडिट टू नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड भाई. उन्होंने जब से वो बकवास करी है उनके बारे में, तब से मतलब ये तो लगा के रखे में. दे सेकंड ऑन द पॉइंट्स टेबल. वेल डन टू देम. But the point is both Siddhant and my attention was caught by a little pow pow. Or can you even call it a pow pow? I think you call it pow pow. That kind of you can call it that. Yeah, I think you can call it that. So that happened on the sidelines and झट से मैंने फोन उठाया और मैंने कहा भाई, and can you believe it भाई, and I was on the same wavelength. वो भी देख रहे थे, वो भी यही देख के. और his first, भाई, what was your reaction? You started laughing like mad, right?
Yeah. Today, though, I wasn't watching alone also, so there was some energy to bounce off for a change, and it was hilarious, man. The whole sequence of events. Firstly, what business does that player have shoving the coach on the touchline like that?
Bro, shoving the coach on the touchline तो चलो ठीक है, हमने पहले देखा है, लेकिन उसके बाद तो चल ठीक है. You and I are having a fight, right?
Firstly, first observation is that look at how athletic these young coaches are, man. Have you seen the cat-like manner in which what's his name? Which one is which? Yeah.
Which one you saying? जो पिटा है, पिटा तो नहीं बोल सकते, जिन बेचारे को बाय सरप्राइज गिरा दिया गया.
बिल्कुल, हाँ,
उनकी
बिल्कुल.
जेरार्ड नूस,
उसने आके ऐसे काफी looked at least on camera like he fairly forcefully shoved him aside when he wasn't aware. He wasn't even
and then
he
wasn't aware. Yeah, he caught him off guard and he went flipping put like that.
Punch.
See, the thing is, हम लोग शो नहीं करते अगर वो ही होता, पर उसके बाद जो देखने को मिला, तो भाई जैसे आप वहां से वर्चुअली मेरे को चाटा मार दो, हाँ, फटाक मेरे को चाटा पड़ गया. अब आप घर पे बैठ के आप क्या रिएक्शन दे रहे हो? यार ये this was, I mean, and look, we're not people who are holding a moral high ground and saying this is the way you must conduct yourself. बट ये थोड़ा अलग ही लेवल लगा भाई. ये मैंने पहले कभी फुटबॉल फील्ड पे देखा नहीं है ऐसे. आपने देखा है ऐसा कुछ?
I mean, just you can this sarcastic clapping that he was doing just to indicate that that it's not the same as players taking a dive on the pitch. मतलब ये scenario बिल्कुल अलग है. And I think you're right, man. It's not about taking a moral high ground, but you're the coach of your own team. When you're walking in towards the technical area of the other side, the other team's dugout, and you're kind of sarcastically applauding the coach for having taken maybe an over dramatic dive instead of reprimanding your player for
doing that, man. Bhai, okay, so one second, can we before we get into the
kind of leadership or example that you're looking to set on the bench.
भाई ऐसे करते ना हमारे जो दोस्त लोग हैं. सो मैं also I'm doing so that you can see my triceps and all, because आज लड़ाई की बात हो रही है ना, तो इसलिए आज कट स्लीव पहन के आए हैं भाई. तो मैं ऐसे चल रहा हूँ और मैं गिर गया हूँ. अब आप हंस रहे हो वहां पे बैठ के.
मैं तो हंस ही रहा हूँ भाई. काफी मुझे भी फीडबैक मिला है कि स्टॉप गिगलिंग सो मच.
अच्छा, ओह, वैसे यार हद ही होगी यार. ये दिस इज रियली सैड. और चलो ठीक है, आपने वो कर दिया. अब हम तो आ गए ना भाई. ये अब मुझे इस लीग की मुझे ये बात नहीं समझ में आती, जो लोग इस लीग को चला रहे हैं. सर, अगर ऐसा कुछ प्रीमियर लीग में होता या कुछ होता, ये फ्रंट लाइन थिंग होता, योर शोज वुड बी लेड बाय इट. यू वुड हैव डिस्कशंस ऑन इट. यू वुड बी टेकिंग टफ क्वेश्चंस टू द मैनेजर्स. पर अपने बंदे जो शो कर रहे हैं, They've just said, oh, what happened on the sideline? Oh, he thought he was coming into my this thing. I think he wanted to be with us. Oh, what happened on the sideline? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, beautiful. Chalo ji, aage chalo. It's clearly they've said that they do not talk too much about it. This is what makes. समझ में नहीं आ रहा यार भाई.
No,
ऐसे कैसे?
completely I agree, man. On the one hand, you're trying to create a television drama, right? You're trying to create engagement and a fan community around a product that no one's getting to watch. We are only watching it on television. So, जो भी narrative storyline through the league हमें मिलेगा, हम उसी के बारे में बात करेंगे, उसी पे focus रहेंगे. तो जब आपको इस type के talking points मिल रहे हैं, तो 100% they should be, especially when you have and again, I mean, it's just I don't know whether I think we can make a few jokes, but you look at these young coaches and they look like they've also been plucked out of some European telenovela.
Yeah.
So lag raha hai ki kuch drama hone wala hai, and they are very animated guys, a lot of the guys,
which is fine, but
constantly talking to the fourth official also on the sideline and all. So all that is happening. So then when you actually have a little bit of a little bit of action between the two sides,
yeah,
then I think we should have gotten some more out of it. Yeah.
भाई मैं तो ये कह रहा हूँ कि आप और मैं अभी रिएक्ट कर रहे हैं एंड काफी लोग इस पे भी बात कर रहे हैं उसके बारे में. द पॉइंट इज कि हमें अजीब लगा, नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड वालों को अजीब लगा होगा, उनके कोच को आपने ऐसे किया, एंड कोच इज you don't go there in terms of whatever happens. Coaches, you don't go there. That is the unwritten rule. I am thinking जो FC गोवा वाले प्लेयर होंगे और उन्होंने अपने कोच को ऐसे करते हुए देखा, you think they also won't be judging the guy, saying ये क्या कर रहा है भाई, ये क्या, किस किस्म की मैच्योरिटी दिखा रहे हैं आप? I can understand if you're losing the plot and you're reacting. It's fine, it's human, it's a good thing. But how can you be doing that to your own player, shoving a coach down, no matter how he may have gone down?
And I think then continuing to react, it didn't end with that little sarcastic clap. He didn't turn around and walk away. Then after that, to proceed to kind of walk towards the other team and then have that little face-off where your players have to separate you. At so early in this season, when you're with a new team, you're looking to gain the confidence of the dressing room. I'm not sure how all of this features in with that agenda. I think it was Kwesi who was separating Kwesi Apia, the striker who was...
he was there. He was separating them.
And then Clifford, the former India international.
Clifford तो उसको 2 बार ही उसको करना पड़ा क्योंकि उससे पहले भी झड़प हुई है. Where they were just looking at each other and that Delhi wala fight, na, tu janta nahi hai, main janta nahi hu, and all of that. So at that time it was a very football type of fight. Ki, you're looking into each other. I will do this to you. I will do that to you, kind of thing. And I'm not saying Gerard Nus is in the right here or whatever. Look, these things happen in the moment. The touchline is a heated affair, more so when there is no crowd. So you're hearing what that guy is saying pretty 10 times more than what you normally hear in a full game where the crowd is everything.
बिल्कुल बगल में बोल रहा है वो, बिल्कुल हाँ सही बात
है ना. वो सब आपको सुनने को दे रहा है, तो वो आपके माइंड पे चल रहा है. ऊपर से गेम आपके हिसाब से चल नहीं रहा है. आप पिछले साल के लीग स्टेज विनर हो and much is expected of you. You're supposed to be representing India in the Champions League and a lot is being expected of you. People are thinking कि group stage से आगे निकलेंगे, जो भी करेंगे. But यहाँ पे आप अभी तक चल ही नहीं पाए हो अपने सीजन में. But irrespective of that, यार बड़ा अजीब लगा भाई. मैं आपके पास एक क्लिफर्ड वाली जबरदस्त कहानी है कि आप आज बैठ के आप अपने घर पे आप मुकाबला देख रहे थे, आप बता रहे थे अपनी बेटर हाफ को.
हाँ, so I was telling her, oh, there's my friend Cliffy, because they don't like is the case mostly in all games. Manager gets a decent amount of screen time, but the assistants and the other staff on the bench don't so much. Obviously, it depends on कहाँ पे आपका कैमरा है, कैसे बैठे हैं लोग. But generally, because especially जो active वाले होते हैं managers, वो touchline technical area के कोने पे खड़े होते हैं. तो bench आपका थोड़ा पीछे है, बाकी सब लोग बैठे हुए हैं उस पे. तो कम ही देखने को मिलता है. Like Ishfaq, we've seen a few times on with his handsome mask on.
Yes, I saw him
रणवीर भाई
yesterday.
की, और अभी भी
I
यार
saw him a bit.
क्या कहते हैं, मजा आता है ना जब अपने अपने दोस्तों को टीवी पे देखते हैं,
हाँ.
तो उसी एक्साइटमेंट में पॉइंट आउट कर रहा था. So she thought basically that Juan Ferrando was Clifford Miranda till the end of the game.
So then she must have been judging Clifford Miranda. At
Yeah,
least
she
her
was
उसके दिमाग में जो Clifford
perfect.
Miranda था.
इसका दोस्त है तो बोल रहा है इतनी खुश
That
होके मेरा दोस्त है, फिर
hmm.
फिर ये ऐसे बिहेव क्यों कर रहा है?
That explains a lot of things.
That
Then.
explains it. Yeah.
Ooh, man, this is bizarre, man. What happened? And okay, so I'm sure the management and the leadership will have a word with this guy, man. कि आप चलो, you can be as hot-blooded and as passionate and whatever, put yourself out there. And this is the same guy, sir, who in the last game had said, let's not even talk about the referees because we know what the standard is. आपको यार 3 गेम हुए हैं आपको यहाँ पे, और आप ऑलरेडी ये सब चीजें बोलना शुरू कर रहे हो यार. I mean, what is the point of saying something like that? Remember, we had done that entire episode on the referees, I think last season, where, as managers, it's fashionable to point at the referees.
Yeah.
But rather than saying कि referee का वो चलो he's human, I'm not saying वो गलती नहीं करता, गलती करता होगा वो, 3, 4, 5 उनके decisions गलत होते होंगे, पर क्या आप मैच उन 3, 4, 5 decisions की वजह से हारे हो? I don't think it's possible. It's the other way around. It's what your team has done for 90 minutes. Look at that.
I think the pressure is a telling thing, yeah, and how you a lot of this particular job is how you handle the pressure of everything that comes with the role of being a head coach for a team that plays in a top tier, right? बिल्कुल सही बोले आप जो referees के बारे में बोले, and we've done many stories. I mean, you guys can check out also if you're interested on Newsclick some of the stories that we've done on the training, the education, the lives of referees, in terms of they're all meant to be as fit and as professional as the players on the pitch. But of course, they don't get paid nearly as much. If we are saying today that the top Indian player is only getting to play maybe 15, 20 games in a season, then the top Indian referee, how many games do you think they're getting to referee? Yeah. So how is that all of these things have to happen side by side, So a coach coming in, अब आपके CV पे जो भी हो, लिवरपूल हो या मतलब जितने भी बड़े-बड़े क्लब्स हों, जैसे इन लोग some of these coaches have on their CVs. I think coming in and saying things like what the manner in which, let's not even talk about it. You should talk about it. You must talk about it. If there are issues with refereeing that you're seeing as the head coach of a team in the league, you got to bring it up. But you can't just write them off as
completely. We already know. क्या हमें तो पता है क्या बात
स्टैंडर्ड ही नहीं है, ये इनका क्या होगा, कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
भाई तुम्हारा इतना स्टैंडर्ड होता तो तुम यहाँ पे क्यों आए हुए हो?
नहीं,
मुझे ये बताओ, सच बता.
That is the immediate turnaround logic of it. But yeah, I mean the fact is that अगर आप कहीं और greater अच्छे स्टैंडर्ड से हो भी, तो आपको पैसे देके यहाँ इसलिए लाया जा रहा है ताकि आप बाकी सबको सिखाएं.
Exactly.
या उनको इम्प्रूव करें. तो अगर आपके पास कुछ कंस्ट्रक्टिव फीडबैक है देने के लिए of how referees can and should be doing things differently, maybe they are not looking, I don't know, whatever it might be, right? Bring it up with the league. Have better paid referees. Do something that serves the longer impact, or the way I don't know how. I think there must be people thinking about all of these things, but whether it's having referees go out to clubs and be attached to them, so that at least when their reserve teams are playing each other and things like that, instead of coaches also kind of coming in as refs, maybe refs can get some at least unofficial match practice that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Things can be done. Things can be figured out. And there are people who are meant to be figuring them out. So to just like नजरअंदाज करो कि अच्छा इनका तो पता ही है हमें क्या सीन है. फिर अगर आप ऐसे एटीट्यूड से देखेंगे तो फिर तो आप बाहर से ले आइए कोई भी सेकंड टियर ऑफ एनी यूरोपियन लीग का स्क्वाड और जीत लीजिए लीग year on year, फिर तो Indian players and all of that conversation won't even be happening.
Exactly. नहीं मैं ओके चलो मैं गोवा के मैनेजमेंट की सोच रहा हूँ कि you made a start, you haven't made a good start, right? And the argument could be that you need to give us time, and it's a new team. ठीक है, वो एक हो गया. फिर ऊपर से आप आके आपने रेफरीज के बारे में बोल दिया. I don't think the management could care about it because referees बेचारे they're not even featured in the conversation, right? कि मतलब उनको को बोल दो, किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. ये वैसा हाल है, बुरा हाल है, अच्छी बात है नहीं, बदलना चाहिए. बट अभी जो रियलिस्टिकली जो बात है ये ऐसी है.
और ये भी again this is a global thing, it's not an India problem,
it's a global thing totally.
around the world referees का यही हाल है.
सही बात है. ऊपर से फिर आपने ये ऐसी भाई, मैं सॉरी यहाँ अगर कोई गोवा वाले हैं, पर अगर मजाक इनका ऐसे नहीं उड़ाएंगे तो किसका उड़ाएंगे ऐसे? हाँ भाई, क्योंकि ये होता है, ये उन्होंने किया बैठ के वहां पे. दिस वाज वेरी अनस्पोर्टमैन लाइक, अनस्पोर्टिंग लाइक. पॉइंट बीइंग, उससे पहले जो आपकी झड़प हुई है न्यूज़ का, आप नॉट इवन ब्रिंगिंग इट अप, राइट? इज नॉर्मल. बट देन टू रिएक्ट लाइक दैट आफ्टर योर प्लेयर डज दैट, भाई आपको क्या लगता है थोड़ा इनका रिवर्स क्लॉक शुरू हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है आपके हिसाब से? बिकॉज इफ यू वर इन द मैनेजमेंट, things are clearly not going your way with the squad you've got.
Yeah.
And you've got problems of scoring up front, right? और ऐसा कुछ लग नहीं रहा आपकी टीम में कि कोई नया आके आपको एकदम से वहां पे बड़े गोल देगा, ये देगा. एक वो एंगुलो ही है अभी के लिए, right?
Who looks
so if the tide doesn't change, right? And when the time comes to say, look, from a management's point of view, are we going in the right direction? This and referees will also be taken into consideration, and this could be what forces you to take that decision to say, okay जी, टाटा बाय बाय, आप जाइए वहां पे जहां पे रेफरी आपके हिसाब से वर्ल्ड क्लास के बंदे हैं. क्योंकि अगर आप रेफरीज को बोल रहे हैं हम जानते रेफरीज कहां से, तो आप कौन से कोच हैं ये करने वाले? ये कौन से वर्ल्ड क्लास कोच हुए आप?
fair point. And I don't I'm sure management people, whoever there is, I mean we can't assume, obviously speculate, but there will be some people when if that conversation happens who कोई ना कोई तो बात कर रहा होगा गोवा में इसके बारे में. इतना तो
क्यों नहीं? हाँ 100 भाई, अगर आप गोवा के फैन हैं, all of you should have an opinion on this. I am sorry.
But yeah, at the same time we were talking about this yesterday also in the post match chat. It came up because we digressed a lot as usual from post match. And Vaibhav asked the question, what is the kind of pressure that we perceive that exists as far as managers are concerned? And you can, I guess, tell even to whatever small extent they brought it up in the post-match conversation as well on the host broadcaster, where essentially that there is pressure on the Goa coach to deliver the kind of football and the results. We're only 2 games into the season, so how much does it really matter? I don't know. There is some time to play and things will start to happen, but there is pressure when you have only a 10-team league.
Yeah.
ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपके पास 40 मैच हैं खेलने के लिए.
हाँ.
तो छोटी लीग है तो हर मैच मायने रखता है, वेट रखता है. तो उस हिसाब से अगर देखा जाए तो प्रेशर फर्स्ट मैच से ही है इन कोचेस पे, बड़े कोचेस पे. It's a pretty shit situation, but it's a reality. I mean, there are a lot of hungry people, coaches, talented coaches with great CVs.
Yeah, bro.
Looking for these jobs. So, you got to kind of, and that's why you don't see perhaps so many young coaches. These guys are now.
But Mr. Nus is pretty young, and to be fair,
Nus
the younger
and Ferrando, they are.
But Nus is much younger. Nus is 35 or so, I think.
Is it?
Nus is 30.
Is it the other, whichever, one.
Nus is the younger one, but Nus was the one.
They are all our age. और जैसे आप लड़ाई के पहले साइन पे कट स्लीव्स पहन के पहुंच गए, वैसे उनका भी कभी-कभी खून जाग जाता होगा, आई एम श्योर.
नहीं भाई, पर मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आप अपने आप को कंट्रोल करिए ना उस टाइम पे. सॉरी, मैं कौन होता हूँ किसी को बोलने वाला? मैं खुद लड़ाई वाला आदमी हूँ, मैं खुद लड़ाइयाँ करता हूँ. मुझे खुद जिंदगी में इतना बोला जाता है कि आप कंट्रोल करो, मैं कहता हूँ मैं नहीं कर पाता, उस टाइम हवा चढ़ जाती है। पर मैं जब किसी को कोई मार रहा होता है तो सर ये होती है।
Also, I guess that's one of the reasons why you're not a football manager. I mean, you do some of
Yeah, I can't be a manager. Yeah, I don't have a control over my this thing emotions. I guess that's one of the big things you have to tick off, or you probably learn in the game. So you never know. I might just become one, and might learn as I move along.
As you go. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. भाई ठीक है, मैं बताऊँ क्या कह रहा हूँ। मुझे क्या लग रहा है कि अभी इनका चैंपियंस लीग तो आया नहीं, पर जब भी आएगा और चैंपियंस लीग में अगर आपकी कहानी अच्छी नहीं हुई और आपका लीग में आपका कहानी कुछ ऐसी ही चलते गया, तो फिर आई वोंट बी सरप्राइज्ड भाई, अगर आप थोड़े ट्रिगर हैप्पी हो जाएं और आप बोलें कि मेरे को जी बदलना है इनको।
What he was saying in the post-match was a little bit to do with players' performance, right? That they know what they have to do, but it's not happening because their bodies are not ready. They're not there yet. So perhaps indicating that the preseason was not long enough or intense enough or whatever the case might be. So उसमें ज़्यादा जाने की I don't think we need to right now. But I guess that's a fair point. I mean, just before this happened, we were just discussing the game and what was going on vaguely, like from
and laughing
perspective. Yeah. So I was saying that this looks like basketball. Yeah, FC Goa, the way they are building up, it's like when you have possession, you build up, and maybe this is one iteration of how modern football works. That you do the same kind of build-up play. Lots of passes. Then eventually you go out onto the wings, you overload somewhere, and then you put a ball in. Fair enough. Maybe that's how it is, and maybe that's why games are getting less and less interesting to watch for all 90 minutes. But you saw, I mean, they had what, 75% possession maybe? It was just wave after wave of doing the same thing. 2 shots on target, 1 goal.
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ भाई, आप your problem is you don't have a goal scorer. I mean, you have Angulo, he's a good player, but you don't have you're not creating. You might create also. ऐसा लग नहीं रहा है कि आप गोल मार रहे हो, कि आप गोल मारोगे.
Point is, with 75% possession and all of this attacking intent and build up and all of that stuff that they're doing, keeping the ball, they have created as many or less chances as the other side and looked as likely or unlikely to score a goal.
Yeah.
And I don't think Northeast United looked too bothered. They didn't look like they were under massive amounts of pressure. Like
they were ready for it.
They like ठीक है, ऐसे ही होने वाला है.
कर लो.
आते रहो. They seem to also have the same understanding that you are showing, which is to say that there's no one there to score the goals. So they can do all this tiki-taka, whatever business they want all day. अपने half में जो भी करते रहें. आएंगे भी तो हमें पता है कैसे आएंगे, कहाँ से आएंगे, और हमने वो उनके outlets बंद किए हुए हैं. That's why, So of course they have a couple of really good players. That this Angulo looks good. That Nogueira, who actually
Nogueira looks very good.
He looked
Nogueira looks really good. Yeah,
looks intelligent. Looks very aware.
Hey, tell me something. With the way he fell, and did the ref dish out a card to the player at least?
I don't think so. In all that, that for me that's a straight red.
He didn't give any card. Nothing.
No, I don't think so. We should check and maybe is anyone watching, by the way? Do we have?
I'll tell you something else. मेरे पास ISL app है. आप यार ISL app के live commentary में they've not mentioned it even once what's happened.
Wow. Fair enough. I
no
guess
mention, bhai.
I guess
no
they were
mention.
Focused on the football.
बहुत they're focused on the football, bro. None of them know football. वो तो यही चीज देख रहे होंगे. ओए होए ये क्या हो रहा है? But हम नहीं लिख सकते. This will look bad for the league. It's not there. Go on the ISL app. Anyone who's here right now, and check it out. Their commentary. एक बार, अरे सर आपने ये भी नहीं लिखा है कि there's a bit of a heated exchange going on between the coaches. It's not mentioned. I may have messed up, but मैं 3 बार ही देखा है क्योंकि हम फैक्ट्स को लेकर बड़े गलतियां करते हैं और मैंने क्रिकेट में भी बहुत गलतियां करी भाई. I'll fix it. But मैं सही में बता रहा हूँ भाई, दिस इज जस्ट आप फुटबॉल की बात कर रहे हो ना, द एक्चुअल कॉन्वर्सेशन पोस्ट दिस गेम, इफ यू जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द फुटबॉल एंड यू
Yeah.
आर टेकिंग असाइड दिस whatever that thing was, the real story is Northeast United. एंड हमने पहले गेम से पहले बोला था, एंड आई स्टिक टू दैट, बिकॉज मैंने ये तो नहीं बोला था कि लीग या टीम बकवास है, क्योंकि मुझे तो टीम के बारे में पता भी नहीं था. But I said, here's a team that seems to be on a slide and has not caught on to the region for all the riches the region gives to Indian football. But forget that, whatever that is. They've been brilliant, bhai. They've been brilliant this season.
Bhai,
Now,
Varun
whether
Deshpande
after this वो चले ही नहीं.
okay. Samar Singh, apparently cards were shown. Varun Deshpande Singh. Sorry, go on. बाद में
वरुण, अच्छा, कार्ड्स वर शोन. ओके वरुण,
Come back to
किसको क्या कार्ड मिला था बता देना दोस्त.
हाँ, sorry.
वो तो अब नाउ वरुण सिंह लोबेरा बेवफा भाई, यार तुम कहाँ थे, वही
Yes.
कार्ड बता दो हमें.
हाँ.
तो माय पॉइंट इज कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड आर द स्टोरी भाई. सेकंड ऑन द टेबल ठीक है, you know, but the point is that they're playing some really good football. They understand their limitations and the coach understands their limitations and he's making them play well. आज उसने एक इंडियन लड़के को कैप्टन बनाया है, माविया को.
Yeah.
Mavia was part of your under 17 team. Didn't get, I think, regular. Yeah, he was there. Ninthoy was part of your under 17 team.
Yeah,
Mavia was
Ninthoy.
also part of your under 17 team. Yeah. So, you know, that was really nice to see कि आज उसने उस लड़के को, just imagine उस लड़के को कितना confidence दिया होगा आपने by making him captain, and then you know, you've got the kind of team that rallies behind each and every member of the squad. It's not one which is waiting for some Angulo or a Nogueira to come and do something. It's you know, you can make up that in the limited space and the limited time that this guy has got.
Yeah.
He's been able to rally his squad to fight for that, you know, for that purpose, for that cause of doing well in the league. Now, will they move into the top 4? I don't know. I think it's too early to say that. But clearly, that's been the story. Gerard Nus, if nothing, I think he's set up very well. He's understood कि मैंने गोल नहीं खाना, और फिर मेरे लड़के फिट हैं, वो बहुत रनिंग करेंगे, तो वो आगे भी जाएंगे, तो बड़ा अच्छा दिख रहा है वो. But and you could also see that he's rotating. He's taken the decision to start rotating players, which is why Ninthoy was not playing in the 11 today because he's resting him.
Yeah.
उसको फिर बाद में लाया second half में. But yeah, Ninthoy and Apuya, really good, man. These boys were really good. Puya and Ninthoy. बड़ा मजा आया देख के. And you know, if and वही तो चाहिए यार for Northeast United, that you want players from the region to gain responsibility, right? अक्सर क्या हो रहा है, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के सारे टॉप लड़के जा रहे हैं दूसरे क्लबों में. You want players from this region to take responsibility of this club and be the guys who are driving the club forward. And if from whatever I've seen of Mr. Noose, he's more than happy to do that. He kind of understands that कि मेरे को इन लड़कों को ही बनाना है. And he probably has a good batch of hardworking kids, because the characteristics of any northeastern kid who plays football, I don't think any coach will ever say कि वो lazy है and he doesn't work hard. I think these are characteristics that these guys are born with. It just comes naturally to them. ये मेहनत करनी है, you know, and for a coach who buys into that, then it's a crazy combination, man.
Yeah. We should find out more in subsequent conversations. We should look at what Northeast is doing with its academy system and its youth program, because you would imagine that that's one area, just like Shillong, Lajong and several of the clubs, once some kind of a transfer market came into being in India, these guys managed to understand what you're saying about the qualities of that the Northeast has in terms of the basic human resource, which is players. Yeah. And the fact that clubs all over want them. So rather than give everyone a contract that says कि आप एक साल के लिए हमारे players हैं, and ठीक है, transfer markets के बहुत issues हैं, as a concept only it's a bit dodgy, but वो सब let's leave all that aside and say that if this is one way in which smaller clubs, like one of the things that Ming has always said consistently about the difficulties in running Shillong, Lajong Shillong, was in finding sponsorship and the kind of revenue to keep that club ticking on and moving to whatever level it required to, at some point it stagnated. So one of the areas in which these clubs can recuperate some of what goes in and keep the system oiled is by then moving these players on to bigger clubs, which will always happen, I guess.
I genuinely feel that the Northeast needs a Tata Football Academy that caters to all the boys from the Northeast, right? That one talent base where you can, sort of get everyone, right? अपना भाई जाता है ना वहाँ पे सुदेवा वाला अनुज, so he tells us, and I'm sure you know of this as well, that when he goes to hold trials in the most remotest of corners of the Northeast, like so I'll just tell for all the people watching. So Anuj goes all over the country along with his partner Vijay, and they do trials for young kids for Sudeva. And when they go anyone other than the Northeast, there's a lot of build-up work, which is कि आपको you have to tell the coaches, you need to put it in the press, आपको media में चलवाना होता है, paper में ad डलवाना होता है. So there's a lot of work done to get a certain number of boys to come and do a trial, right? For the Northeast, he's saying there is no work needed, bhai. I mean, that doesn't mean he doesn't do work, but अपने आप ही 150, 200, 300 लड़के आते हैं. And कौन सी एज कैटेगरी के? Under 10, under 13. So, I mean, I don't know why someone from the Northeast should get hold of a massive investor, right? Who has that kind of that backed by the feeling that I want to do something for my region, right? And there's so many of them around. People who made it successful, when you left the region, but the region you've been born from, or someone who sees that and says that let's just set up a state of the art academy somewhere in the Northeast, which is accessible to one and all in the Northeast, right? And produce players, because you've also come to a place in Indian football now that you produce players and you can sell that player. So you'll earn money on all that you worked on that player. Yeah. I guess कोई सुन रहा है पैसे वाला, सोचो भाई, बहुत जरूरी है.
भाई पैसे वाले तो of course सुन ही रहे होंगे भाई हमसे पहले, because exploiting the same human resources to make profit is what पैसे वाले लोग have been doing for thousands of years. It's how the system keeps going. So I think वो टिप्पणियां देने की, I think जो असली पैसे वाले लोग हैं वो तो already लगे ही हुए हैं.
तो फिर कोई इतने साल से कोई academy क्यों नहीं बना रहा?
Not meaning it only to make a stupid sarcastic joke, but in real terms and at very, very different levels, whether it's you look at the government money that is invested in these regions, you could argue in many ways disproportionately that goes towards sport, because जहाँ पे आपके पास healthcare नहीं है, आपके पास education facilities नहीं है, आपके पास कुछ भी नहीं है basic.
How can you think of an academy?
वहाँ पे आप जाके state of the art academy अगर बना रहे हैं, तो obviously it's not always going to be the highest priority for everyone over there.
From a government's point of view. Public sector money. But even there, public money, you see now there's so many academies specific to various sports, whether it's Mary Com, whose academy is there for boxing. I mean, the Sai academies in various places, including Kokrajhar, including Imphal, are doing very well. Then there are, of course, the hundreds of private academies that have come up. And a basic thing that I found is that in most of these places, clubs बहुत हैं यार local levels पे ना. तो already जो youth है वो काफी organized रहता है. आप जिस भी neighborhood में रहते हैं, वहाँ पे एक cultural / sporting club है, जहाँ पे generally सारे बच्चे kind of at some different points in जब जैसे festival होता है, जो होली का त्योहार होता है, तो उस दौरान मणिपुर में 5 दिन का सिर्फ स्पोर्ट्स होता है. That is their celebration, Of course, there are ritual elements and all that also. But in terms of how normal common people enjoy this festival season is by and all kinds of sport, not just football. So as a result, kids are remembered in the village or in the community as, this guy is the guy who's a 400 meters runner, or this is the football guy, this is the hockey player, or this is the girl who
is going to the nationals next
Yeah,
year.
bro. Yeah. That's organic, bro. That's organic.
So you already have that absolutely great, क्या कहते हैं, ground up structure, ना? That's
उसी
why
के बारे में तो कह रहा था कि they
हाँ,
haven't made a much of it, ना? उसका आपने फायदा उठाया ही नहीं है
यार वो उसमें टाइम लगेगा, I guess, and also rightly so people are concerned, man, because फायदा उठाना और फायदा लेना ज्यादा अंतर नहीं है, थिन लाइन रहता है. तो स्पेशली जब बाहर के लोग आएंगे, बाहर का पैसा लेके आएंगे, किस पर्सपेक्टिव से वो फिर बच्चों को ट्रेन करेंगे, यू नो, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर दीज थिंग्स टू जस्ट बिकम अबाउट creating a commodity. This is what I was also looking at today's game. About this whole drill system. I can understand that to create a modern football player, you need to drill that player as hard as whatever it takes on the world scale, right? So if they are saying 10,000 hours of match time, I absolutely believe that is what it takes to make a player up to professional standards, male, female, whatever, right? But beyond that, football is not the same sport as basketball or any of these games. There is, I mean, an element of क्या कहते हैं, बेस एलिमेंट है ना यार इसमें, एक जो जिस वजह से हम सब लोग जुड़े रहते हैं इस किस्से से endlessly. Something to do with the soul and passion and freedom and all of those things, which only come together when you are on that pitch in front of that ball with those 22 other or 21 other.
Hey, भाई साहब hashtag चल दिया Annie for press. मेरी तरफ से भी hashtag Annie for press. हाँ जी भाई.
Press of what?
AIFF.
सर अभी इंडिया बोलो यार भाई, AIFF. बट चलो AIFF की बात अगर चला ही दी है, धन्यवाद भाई. बाय द वे, अगर मैं कभी खड़ा होऊंगा तो सबसे पहले क्या कहते हैं, इश्तेहार इसका 420 ग्राम्स के YouTube चैनल पे ही आएगा, तो चिंता मत.
ये बात हुई ना, ये बात हुई.
बट क्या कहते हैं, इलेक्शंस के किस्से पे जयदीप बासु जो हमारे कॉलीग हैं, हमारे सीनियर कॉलीग हैं, उन्होंने एक बहुत संक्षिप्त में कहानी लिखी है अबाउट AIFF इलेक्शंस और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के साथ क्या हो रहा है. तो वो कहानी भी पढ़िए. और वो और जो हमारे एक और भाई हैं जो अपने जमाने में रेसलर हुआ करते थे,
एक और पुराने पापी,
जो
पर भाई आप,
I think so they've done a chat also, so that will also be up on the channels tomorrow.
Yes.
So मैं बस चांस ले रहा था भाई प्लग करने का, और कुछ
नहीं. फेयर इनफ भाई, जिसको पढ़ना है उसको just go read the story on the AIFF and the elections. The AIFF, as things stand, have written to FIFA saying, can you please help us in delaying the elections, right? And currently what the story that Jaideep has broken is that at least 25 associations out of a 31 member association, right? How many? ऐसे कुछ है. It's overwhelming majority of people have all written to the AIFF saying we don't want to extend the date for the elections. The elections must be held at the date which was set from before, right? ये है मोटी कहानी. तो उसके बारे में जयदीप and Leslie have done a show as well. उसको सुन लेना आप न्यूज़ क्लिक पे, and do read the website as well. पर भाई आपकी मैं एक बात पे मैं अटका हुआ था पहले. आप कह रहे हैं कि बाहर से प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टर आएगा और फिर वो किस इंटेंशन से प्लेयर को बनाएगा, बेचेगा, उसमें क्या गलत है? एक बात बताना. आयैक्स का भी तो यही सोच है, पर उससे फायदा कितना हुआ है डच फुटबॉल का? आप बताइए सर. आपने
आयैक्स की सोच शायद अलग ही होगी, बिकॉज आई थिंक एक तो आयैक्स एज अ क्लब हैव डन व्हाटएवर दे हैव डन, एंड
तो अगर आप अकेडमी में आप प्लेयर बना रहे हो सर, आप कह रहे हो कि ठीक है.
I agree. मैं उस I don't. It's not something that whichever way we might stand on this debate, the fact of the matter is that the way world football is as an industry, as a business, whatever it is, however people want to run it these days, that the transfer market is critical, especially for small clubs, as one of the few ways in which small clubs can continue to subsist is if their players achieve a certain standard and are able to go on to bigger clubs and play. That this is a fact, and this is not going to change. So I think वो getting into the discussion about how things can be and all, वो तो ठीक है.
I'm just saying भाई देखो, अगर आप किसी को प्राइवेट वाले को बोलते हो and where it might be a business opportunity and it's a profit making motive, वो एक नजरिया हुआ टेकने का. पर दूसरा नजरिया ये है कि फिर वो आदमी जी जान लगा देगा प्रॉफिट निकालने का.
बिल्कुल,
प्रॉफिट निकालने का तरीका ये है कि मैं टॉप के टॉप खिलाड़ी बनाऊं. तो अगर मेरे पास 100 लड़के आ रहे हैं, मेरे जो ग्रेजुएट्स होने चाहिए एटलीस्ट 70-80 जाने चाहिए बाहर ISL क्लब्स में, आई लीग क्लब्स में. उससे भला ही तो होगा ना भाई. और फिर in fact that money will go back into the region भाई.
Absolutely. So that's coming back to the whole thing about the clubs that are in existence, and Northeast United in some ways, at least on paper, is the biggest of these clubs. It's also the only club that is.
अब मैं बोलूंगा नहीं उनके पैसे फाइनेंस के बारे में, but
फाइनेंस वगैरह छोड़ो. I'm just saying in terms of, एक तो बाकी जो भी है सब लोकल क्लब्स है ना. या तो आप इम्फाल से हैं या शिलोंग से हैं या जहां से भी हैं. But Northeast United, in the very name, is the one club that is supposed to unite the football-loving audience of all these states,
in name,
and be a platform for players from all of these states to kind of find their way into a training program, etc., etc. So it is
on paper. On paper, you're saying, but
yeah, on paper, yeah. So for me, they would be the ones prime position to have this to set up these kind of program, and where they get the money to fund it from and all that I suppose they'll have to figure it out. But at a ground level, I think they'll be able to find like feeder clubs. आपको मिलना Northeast में.
It's be easy, man. It'll be very easy to have a organic.
You look at thing. Where was we talking about? I think Pradyum was talking about the Mizo Premier League on one of the.
He was.
Now that's such a phenomenal competition because it's in primarily Aizawl. Okay, also other teams from nearby, but there are so many neighborhood teams. There's a batchmate of mine from college, for example, who runs a club called Chanmari FC that I think they won the Mizo Premier League one season. And, so imagine the local level competition where you have the I-League champions playing in the local league, similar as it is in Calcutta, I guess. But you have then a smaller local club like Chanmari coming and competing with Aizawl FC, who supposedly are the big boys in the league, and besting them in a league format. What could be more fun? And they are only, not only, but actually, probably predominantly Mizo players, only local players playing in the league, right? They are not massive. They are not paid massive salaries, but by local standards, they are paid decently.
Yeah, JJ was telling us it's not bad.
They get that respect in the local community, and it's also, again, it's a scenario where they are not, jobs are not sitting out there waiting for young men to come and take them.
Yeah.
Right. So these boys, if they are not employed as athletes, they are then looking to do other things, which also by and large will involve them using their manual labor to earn a living, So it's a great option that serves the wider community in many positive ways, I think. And वैसा system अगर encourage करें तो I think Northeast तो potential wise there's no limit to it, man.
सर पोटेंशियल ही थी तो बात हो रही है. चलो ठीक है, हमने बात कर ली है यहाँ पे. सो देखेंगे भाई नॉर्थ ईस्ट की क्या सिस्टम है. बिकॉज पिछले आईएसएल में भी उन्होंने शुरुआत बड़ी जबरदस्त करी थी, लेकिन उसके बाद ना उनका जो ग्राफ था नीचे ही गया था. इस बार ऐसा लग नहीं रहा, क्योंकि दिस इज लुकिंग लाइक अ टीम दैट वर्क्स फॉर ईच एंड एवरी मेंबर ऑफ द स्क्वाड. कि मैं आपके लिए लड़ाई कर रहा हूँ, आप मेरे लिए लड़ाई कर रहे हो. अभी तक जो देखने को मिला है, दिस इज नॉट जस्ट वर्किंग ऑन इंडिविजुअल ब्रिलियंस, एक बंदा गोल मार गया और ये कर गया. इट्स वर्किंग एज अ कलेक्टिव यूनिट. तो जब वो कहानी होती है, देन आपकी ना गाड़ी में थोड़ी गैस ज्यादा होती है टू लास्ट द जर्नी. सो दैट शुड बी अ नाइस थिंग. Bhai, anything else you want to talk about? I just wanted to ask you, given the track record of this league, and given the track record of the so-called federation of this league, or the so-called federation of football in this country, you suppose any action will be taken on the player who shoved the coach down, or the coach who then laughed at his player shoving another coach down?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll flip it for you. If this was done abroad,
yeah,
would something have been done?
I think whatever disciplinary action, what was the final thing? Had the players were shown, the player was, or both the refs, both the coaches were shown a card, but nothing
Yeah,
for the
but
player.
they were shown a card before for the earlier confrontation.
Right.
When they went face to face.
No,
So they were
definitely.
shown
I
a
think
card.
in the match commissioner's report, definitely this will be a major point of kind of note. And the disciplinary committee will be prompt to levy definitely some kind of fines, take some kind of action.
Do you think something will happen?
FC Goa is no stranger to being fined by the ISL, as we all know. Yeah, these things. I mean, the post क्या कहते हैं जो reaction होगा from the committees and the structure वो तो होगा ही.
हाँ, क्या होगा भाई? आप क्या लगता है? मुझे नहीं
I think
लगता कुछ
fine,
होगा.
mostly fine होगा. और अगर वीडियो रिप्ले देखने के बाद लगे कि प्लेयर ने बहुत ही ज्यादा like violently कुछ किया था कोच को, then प्लेयर पे रेड कार्ड भी हो सकता है.
No, but the fact that you have your other coach.
But that I don't.
That is what I'm talking about.
This is kind of like
नहीं होगा उसको.
dangerous territory. Yeah, because I mean, end of the day, being sarcastic may be a crime, but it's a thought crime. So can you start punishing thought crimes? I'm not sure. You know,
That's
it's a
fair
challenging
point.
situation.
It's a fair point. I think this, if anything, then this will be an internal matter for Juan Ferrando more than anything. That that could be reprimanded within the club, and what the reprimand is, it could be just a chat with the management or whatever it might be. That look, this is not done.
I think he will realize it himself, man, and all of the chatter on, and that's why football clubs need to have fans, right? Because all the fan chatter, of course, there will be I'm sure a bunch of the hardcore Goa fans will be on the side of their coach, but I think on seeing the replays, on seeing the videos, there'll be the memes will start flying around. You know, all that will happen. So when you have that engaged community, there's no way for the coach to avoid knowing कि ये सब बातचीत चल रही है भाई मेरे बारे में, तो उसको खुद ही ये सब देख के एहसास हो जाएगा कि मैंने शायद कुछ गलती सी टाइप कुछ कर दिया.
Oh yeah, bhai. So because I think we're dragging it now. I think if I was a fan of Goa, then I mean, no matter how big a fan I would have been of the club and everything, I would have been like, "Ye kya tha, bhai? This is not done, right? This is just not done." So let's see if something happens to the coach or not. तो उसके बाद देखेंगे.
And and this is we may, sorry, just I know we've dragged this quite a bit, and I'm sure everyone is done with this chat. But we were making a comment earlier about why that अब ये बबल में हो रहा है, तो unfortunately कोई जो मीडिया ट्रिब्यून है वो खाली है, कोई है नहीं वहाँ पे who can actually say कि नहीं actually बात शुरू यहाँ से हुई थी, या कोई और हमारे पास कोई एक्चुअल प्राइमरी सोर्स नहीं है जहाँ से हम वेरीफाई करें.
पर अब टीवी पिक्चर्स
beyond what we saw on television, exactly. तो वो हम स्टार स्पोर्ट्स के डायरेक्शन टीम के हाथ में हैं, and audio कुछ हमें मिला नहीं है, तो we don't know what exactly. So that's why we can't chat too much about it. And my point was just that this is why it's important for reporters to be present at the location they are reporting from, because only then do you really get a sense of the overall picture of what's going on, whether it's tactical on the pitch or this kind of sideline drama that keeps happening.
And you can be rest assured that in the gazillion 5 million highlights of the game that are played after, this incident will not feature on it. You can be rest assured. I was on the ground when that entire mashup between Robert Perez and Habas happened. It was never seen after on that channel, right? The only way of viewing it was if someone put it online. I don't think people were that fast at the time.
Right.
So rest assured, जिसने इसको अभी टीवी पे देखा है, इसको कैप्चर कर लो अपने मेमोरी में. अगर कोई जबरदस्त और समझदार आदमी है तो भाई इसको रिकॉर्ड कर लो, ठीक है, क्योंकि आपको हाईलाइट पे नहीं दिखने वाला दोस्त यार.
I think by now भाई ये सब हो चुका है भाई. The internet has done its job. I don't think.
Sir, online commentary में इसका mention नहीं है. Are you seeing how well it's planned?
Online
from
comment,
broadcaster to
हाँ, on the app.
commentary,
You're
on the
saying.
app. It's not there. There is no mention of it. A broadcaster, when they started by talking about the game. And this happened so close to the final whistle. It's not like it happened in 30th minute or, first half or 60th minute. This happened somewhere in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So if anything,
just when the game was becoming
broadcasting
so predictable and dull that about to go off to sleep, this happened.
Yeah, this happened. So if anything, you would have started with pictures of that and you would have spoken about that. If it's done, is it sporting like, unsportsmanlike? You got both the coaches, you should have grilled them, right? I mean, it's easier for us to say you should have grilled them, but you should have asked them more, na? What happened there? What was the point? What was the issue? But वो सब तो नहीं हुआ है. It was all played out like nothing happened. It was just a way, कोई नहीं चलता है, ऐसा तो होता है.
बिल्कुल सही. That's why, like, anyway, it is what it is. So
it is what it is. Rest assured, we're not perfect as well. किसने कहा है? We're perfect. We're not perfect. We're probably the most imperfect people ever.
Week 3, you can remember this chat, guys. Week 3 of ISL, जब हमारी शक्लें भी नहीं दिखेंगी.
ठीक है भाई. I think that's about it. आज ये थोड़ा unplanned सा था. So we're not going longer into it. I think we've spoken about NorthEast. We've spoken about a larger topic in the NorthEast. We really just wanted to talk about this and the kind of behavior you saw from the Goa coach. And the fact that after that, the people who have the responsibility of broadcasting the show to you, I've just playing it like nothing happened. So we thought हम लोग आके अपनी छाप तो छोड़ दें, ताकि ये तो इंटरनेट पे कोई डिलीट नहीं कर सकता. ठीक है भाई. थैंक यू सो मच. आपने डेडिकेशन दिखाया. मैं सरप्राइज था कि मैंने आपको फोन किया और आप मैच देख रहे थे. I was like, wow, मान गए भाई को. तो
भाई अब यार अब रिस्पॉन्सिबल इतने लोग अगर हम बात करेंगे इस विषय पे ना रेगुलर बेसिस पे और इतने हमारे भाई बहन एज आई एम रिमाइंडेड एक्चुअली एक्सेप्ट आर्यांशी देयर इज नो अदर सिस्टर हु इज ऑन आवर चैनल अनफॉर्चुनेटली इट्स ऑल ब्रदर्स ओनली बट ठीक है चलो फॉर अ स्टार्ट दैट्स नॉट टू बैड so everyone's making the effort of sitting around and listening to us and commenting on the chat and all of that so हमारा थोड़ा फर्ज बनता है कि कुछ तो पढ़ाई करके आए
भाई. हाँ, सॉरी, जस्ट बिफोर आई नो, मैं मेरी हर वक्त आदत है कि मैं बंद करने वाला होता हूँ और मेरे दिमाग में एक आइडिया आता है. दिस इज नॉट कम कर्टसी मी, इट्स कम इनडायरेक्टली फ्रॉम सुश्रीस 1423 एंड मुंह की बात छीन ली दोस्त. उसने कहा एफसी गोवा इफ दे डू लाइक दैट हाउ दे प्ले इन द एएफसी चैंपियनशिप. तो मैं वो नहीं कह रहा हूँ. मैं कह रहा हूँ सर, अगर ये फर्नांडो साहब चैंपियंस लीग खेल रहे हैं और ऐसा कुछ दृश्य चैंपियंस लीग में हुआ है, क्या फर्नांडो साहब ये कर रहे होते? और अगर क्या फर्नांडो साहब ये करते तो क्या इतनी आसानी से उनको जाने देते एएफसी कप कंपटीशन, एएफसी चैंपियंस लीग, जो भी आप बोले?
No, again, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think yellow card. If it's a yellow card that's been given, pending match commissioner's report and a full review of what exactly happened, then I think that's a fair reaction, and that's at par with what would have happened in an AFC Cup game. Or
even the boy who dropped down Gerard Nus.
No, his part I didn't understand even now. How come for the shove? How come nothing happened? Because I think that just has been missed, and so I think retroactively or retrospectively there will be some action on that. Definitely, I think there will be some action on. There's no way that he can be let off without even a yellow card for that kind of a shove on a coach. And a coach who's not interfering with anything, he's not even looking at it.
Yeah, it's not like he was not taking the ball or anything like that. Yeah. Or he was trying to come in and be cheeky and do any of that. वो सब नहीं कर रहा था वो.
No. वो अपने touchline पे he's facing the other direction and maybe he was saying something to his coach which offended him. There might have been some, because I don't know, Noguera sounds to me also, I don't know if he's the right guy also. I don't want to make a mistake on this.
No, it's Noguera only.
Yeah. But
Noguera,
so Spanish speakers, all of them, they probably heard and understood exactly what was going on. So maybe there was some chat happening there that led to him shoving this guy aside like that. I don't know.
I think that was just heat of the moment. And, it didn't help his case, Mr. Noguera, कि वो नूस भी फिर पलटियां खा खा गिरा है. but this is not done. This is just not done.
No, it's
And what's even worse is that no action has been taken. So let's see.
So I think something will happen by the morning. I think there will be some kind of release, and we'll hear of something.
I don't think so. But bet लगा लेते हैं. आप कह रहे हो हाँ, मैं कह रहा हूँ ना. आप लोग भी फॉलो कर लेना. भाई कह रहे हैं हाँ, मुझे नहीं लगता कुछ होने वाला है. इसके बारे में फिर अगले दिन बात करेंगे जब हम अगली बारी शो करने आएंगे. भाई हमें शेड्यूल निकालना है, दोस्त लोगों को बताना है. तो एक दिन बैठ के इस हफ्ते का शेड्यूल बना लेंगे एंड न्यूज़ क्लिक स्पोर्ट्स पे डाल लेंगे और अपने अपने इंस्टाग्राम पेजेस पे भी डाल लेंगे. आज के लिए हमारे इस आज है वैसे टुडे इज मंडे.
यस,
आज मंडे नाइट फाइट नाइट पे इतना ही. उम्मीद करते हैं आपको या पाओ उम्मीद करते हैं आपको हमारा शो देखने में पसंद आया हो. एंड टेक केयर, हैव अ गुड नाइट, स्लीप वेल, स्वीट ड्रीम्स.